Okay, well, welcome to the Ambassadors Group. I'm happy that you're here. I've got 15 minutes, as I promised, to share some introductory information with you. First of all, you probably know I'm Mark Helsel. I'm the founder of the Ambassadors Group. So let's start right there. Why? Who is this for? What is the Ambassadors Group? Well, real simple. For the last 17 years, I've been helping young athletes and their parents through the recruiting process and development. Now, I did that as the director of a national travel program that I started 17 years ago. Very, very successful. But now we're moving on. And the ambassadors group is like the evolution of that idea. And what I mean by that is we're taking this to a much more personable and intimate level. So we're looking for athletes that meet our criteria that we can help in many ways and not just get to the next level, because in reality, getting to the next level is not the goal. Thriving at the next level, excelling at the next level is the goal. And even that's not really the ultimate goal, because we've got a whole lifetime out ahead of these kids after they stop playing. So at the Ambassadors Group, we've put together a holistic approach to development. And I'm talking about spiritual, talking about mental, talking about physical, talking about social, educational. There's just so much weaved into it. And you're going to hear me say we, because this is certainly not just me. Yes, my vision, and I started it, but I'm a networker. I have surrounded myself with unbelievable people who share the same passion that I do, which is to help young athletes navigate this crazy thing called youth sports. We start about 13 years old, although a lot of the information that we share could be applied to even younger kids. But our clients, the people we take on as a new client, starts at 13 years old. There's a lot more information that you're going to have access to learn all about my background and people that are with me and specific services that we're offering. But today, as I mentioned, this is a 15-minute overview. Okay, so I want to start with the motivation or passion that this whole thing is really revolving around. Some of you may know a famous motivational speaker. His name's Zig Ziglar, one of the greatest of all time. And years ago, I heard a Zig Ziglar quote that stuck with me. He said, "Help enough people in life get what they want, and you automatically get what you want." And I believe that to be very, very true. Helping other people, being other centered, is a wonderful thing to do. And most of my career, if I look back, it's been helping other people solve different problems. And obviously, it solved a lot of my own problems. So we are helping young athletes and their families. Okay, that is what we do. And we do it in a lot of different ways. Let's start with probably something that is very, very important to you. And that is if you're a player playing college sports, or if you're a parent helping and assisting and facilitating your son or daughter to get to the next level. It's an enormous responsibility, especially for parents. The reason is they've never done this before. Most of the parents that I've worked with, this was their first go around, and that's scary. I liken it to going out into the jungle or the wilderness, and you've never been there before, and you need to get through to a destination. The problem is there's all kinds of perils along the way. And if you've never been there, it's likely that one of those perils, whether it's a grizzly bear or a rattlesnake or a lion or a cougar waiting in the lurches that you don't know about, well, they get you. And that happens to people in this thing called youth sports. They've never been through the journey, as I call it, and without guidance, without direction, without assistance, it's really easy to make sometimes really bad mistakes, catastrophic mistakes, opportunity mistakes that keep people from getting where they could have gotten. That's what I call a catastrophic mistake. So let's talk about getting recruited here real quick. I'm going to make a statement. I'm not trying to depress you, but here it is. It's harder than ever to get recruited, especially if you're talking at the Division I level. Why? Well, first of all, youth sports is a phenomenon. There are more kids trying to get there than ever before, and yet the odds are stacked against you so much. I mean, less than 3% of high school baseball players, let's say, are going to play Division I baseball. Another way of saying that is 97% are not. Sounds depressing. It's never hindered my enthusiasm because I've proven with our clients that when we do all the things right, we swing the odds back in our favor. So that's what we want to do with our clients is we want to do all the things right and swing the odds back in their favor. Even though it's harder than ever before. We have a goal with our clients, 100% college placement. It's a big goal, but we're really not taking on clients that we don't have the confidence that we can help them get to the next level. And by the way, while I'm on that subject, who is our client? I think it's really important that you hear me say this. We're not looking for the top of the top, and I'll tell you why. And if you're not that, or if you are that, don't be offended. And if you're not that, don't be offended. Those kids, the top 30, 40, 50, 100 kids in the country, unfortunately, I say they can probably do almost everything wrong and still get to the next level. Now, I'm not saying they're going to have success at the next level because a lot of things catch up with people, even the most talented people. It takes more than that to excel and stay at the next level. So that group of kids, that's really not who we're after. There's another group of kids, and this is going to sound really, really judgmental, but their numbers or things about them don't indicate to us that there's a likely chance that they can get to the next level. I mean, I don't know any other way of saying it. Not everybody that wants to play there is going to play there. So that group, we don't want to ever mislead people. We don't want to squelch dreams. There's always outliers and exceptions. But there's a group in the middle of kids that I think I've been working with for the last 17 years. And I call them bubble players. They're above average players, but if they don't do everything right, chances are they're not getting to the next level. If they do everything right, there's a good chance they get to the next level. And I've been working with those kids for, like I said, over 17 years. And by the way, I see them playing against us all the time too. I see kids and I think they're really talented, and then I find out that nobody's recruiting them, and there are reasons for that. So that is the group of kids we're looking at to help to the next level. Let me do a little fun exercise with you. There are groups of people that think they know everything, and they're going to wing it and do it on their own. I don't have a lot of confidence that people that think they know everything that have never done this before are going to have too much success. There's another group that they don't know anything and they don't know that they don't know anything. Okay, I call they're a little bit, what's the word? I don't want to say delusional, maybe ignorant, and I mean that in a way of they just don't know and they don't know what they don't know. Then there's another group of people, they know what they want and they know they don't know how to get it. That's another indicator of the kind of people we're looking for. So let's take a little test here and see if you fall into that category. I'm going to talk about some things that we get questions all the time and see if you know the answers. How important are camps? That question comes up all the time. Is that the way you get a scholarship? Go to camps. I'm not going to answer these questions today. I want you to think about, do you know? How about showcases? Showcases are everywhere. What about, should I just go to showcases? Maybe that's the way I get a scholarship. How about rankings? Do I need to be ranked in order to get a scholarship? How important are rankings to college coaches? What about my travel team, my summer? What team should I play for? Does it even matter? What about high school? Does high school even matter? Again, I'm just asking these questions. Think about the answers if you know them. Maybe you don't know them. A lot of people have never heard this, but eventually, if you're trying to get recruited, you're going to hear some college coaches say things like, you're just not physical enough. I remember the first time I ever heard that, I didn't know what that meant. This isn't football, it's baseball. What do you mean physicality? Does size matter in baseball? I always heard that it didn't, but maybe it does. I don't know. What about letters to college coaches? If I send a really good letter to college coaches, will that help my chances or will that hurt my chances? What about a scholarship? I hear about all these scholarships. I see kids committing all the time, but I don't know is what's a good scholarship? I mean, how does that all that work financially? What about talking to college coaches? I hear people talking to college coaches. I didn't know you were allowed to talk to college coaches. When can I do that? And if I do it, what should I say? Ooh, I'm scared. We actually do trainings for our clients on how to talk to college coaches, when to talk to college coaches. Obviously, I have the answers to all of these things that we're talking about here. How about this one? When does recruiting start? Years ago, I had a guy say that his son was a junior. And he said, well, he's only a junior. Well, I got news for you. That's late. That's late in the process, not early. But he didn't know. Okay. What about college coaches when they're sitting there watching kids play? What are they thinking? What are they watching? They see them scribbling little notes down and think, what are they writing? What are they noticing? What matters to college coaches? How about this one? This is gigantic. Where do I project? You know, unfortunately, I don't mean to sound negative, but there's a lot of people that will tell you what you want to hear. Why? Because they have an agenda. They want you to do something. So, you know, they'll tell you something that may be not true. You're a Division I player. You know, come play with us. At the Ambassadors Group, we have an amazing way to help you understand clearly where you project. And it's based on a lot of things. It's not just metrics. It's not just, oh, I run a 6'4", 60. I'm a Division I player. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. But we do that in a professional way. And that is a big, big deal to help you know where you project at that given moment. You know, that it can change. But if you don't know what needs to change, it's pretty hard to change that, right? I could give you examples of a lot of kids that we said, we call them yeah buts. Here's your yeah but. If a college coach is watching you, he's saying, I like this kid, but. Well, if you don't know what the but is, we do, and we can't, and you don't change it, that doesn't change. He goes, you don't get scholarship from college coaches that have a but behind your name, okay? Doesn't happen. How about batting average? Last one. Does batting average matter? You hear a lot of parents talking about batting average. And you can probably guess from the tone of my voice what I think of batting average and what college coaches and pro scouts think of batting averages. But we'll save the answers to all these questions are for our clients, okay? And I'm not trying to be deceitful. We don't have time today to give you all these answers. So let me switch gears. Let me reel this in. Let me talk to you about the things that we're doing for our clients. First of all, becoming a client, becoming part of the ambassador group. We are incredibly selective with who we're going to invest our time, our money, and our energy into. And I said it before, we're not trying to be all things to all people. We're trying to find the right client, the person that checks all the boxes, and we check all of your boxes. That's called a win-win. That's called a symbiotic relationship that has the chance to change lives, literally change lives. So we're looking for clients, and you know, if you want to pursue that or explore that, we have ways to engage before you become a client, before we accept you as a client. We can go down that road. But once we make that agreement, you are in, we are in, it's all in. You know, a college coach once said to me, you're either all in or all out. Okay, we can't really do this with any client that's not all in. So that's part of the equation as well. Okay, now I have a webinar on this website too, because I recorded a 45-minute webinar where I do answer a lot of these questions, and it's really valuable information. So if you're just looking to maybe test the waters here, that's a way that you can watch that webinar, and you can hear me talk about a lot of the things that I just talked about. Okay, some of you just need somebody to talk to, somebody you can trust, somebody that you can believe, somebody doesn't have an agenda. You know, let's face it, if you ask your uncle, you know, do you think I'm a Division I player? Maybe he says yes, even though he doesn't know anything about it. Why? Because he didn't want to hurt your feelings, okay? So sometimes you just need somebody to talk to that is kind of unbiased and an expert in their field. We have an opportunity for us to set up a one-on-one 30 minutes and just talk about some things. We'll see where that goes. Maybe it goes nowhere, and maybe it leads to something else. but we have that as a service on here as well. We have a monthly subscription on here too, because a lot of you just want to have a connection. Maybe you're not all in, but there's a lot of information that we have available that you would like access to. So you can become a monthly subscriber, have access to a lot of our videos, a lot of our resources. Obviously, that's not a personal, intimate relationship, which is what we have with our clients, but it definitely is going to be a lot of great information for you if you become a monthly subscriber. Maybe you're really tentative about all this and you just want to ask a simple question. We even have a place where you ask it. It's free. Just ask a question and we try to answer all of those. Sometimes we might miss a few, but most of the time we get an answer to your question. So we have that service. And then finally, you see it probably on the website here. After 17 years, I finally wrote my first book, and it's going through the process right now. It's called The 10 Commandments of Youth Sports. It's a practical guide for parents of young athletes. And I had so much fun writing it because it's literally 17 years of on the front lines with players, with parents, with grandparents, with college coaches, with the whole shooting match, so to speak. And I put so much information over 17 years into that book. And I love it, obviously, but the co-writer asked me, what's my number one motivation for writing a book? Without question, I said, this is information people need to have. So you can order the book on this website as well. So I hope this little introduction helps you. I tried to keep this as concise as I could. We would love to interact with you. We're here truly to help you. There's a group of people that have a real passion to help these young athletes, and we believe you need help. I hope you understand that you do too. Don't wing this alone. If I could give you one piece of advice, treat this like anything else in life. There are things that you need help with. If you're not an attorney, sometimes you need an attorney. If you're not an accountant, sometimes you need an accountant. If you're not a plumber, sometimes you need a plumber. Okay, you see what I'm saying? If you're not an expert in the area of recruiting, get some help. Allow somebody to guide you through the process. You will find out that the chances of success are dramatically higher when you do that. So, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.